Hi, I'm Emery. I work at Friends for Life as a behavior technician, and today I will be going over 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is a pattern game that we use with our dogs. We really like 1, 2, 3 because it keeps our dogs engaged with us while walking, so it's a really great tool to use if you're trying to navigate an area that might be a little bit difficult for your dog to walk through, whether they're reactive or a little bit of a fraidy dog. What 1, 2, 3 looks like is you say 1, 2, 3, and when you say 3, you give the dog a treat. The dog does not have to do anything to get the treat. It's simply delivered to them. So what ends up happening is when the dog hears 1, they're expecting 2, 3 to follow. So as you can imagine, that is a really useful tool for our reactive dogs or our fraidy dogs. The trainer who came up with 1, 2, 3 came up with it because she needed to move her dog through agility courses during tournaments, move her through agility tournaments safely while keeping her engaged with her. So today I will be using Nala to show you 1, 2, 3 and what that looks like. If you're curious on how we train 1, 2, 3 from the start, then I'll go over that right now. If you are just a pet parent or foster and want to see what 1, 2, 3 looks like and how we use it, then you can skip ahead. So we train 1, 2, 3 using back chaining. So we start by saying 3 and giving the dog a treat. And when the dog shows a conditioned emotional response, when they respond to the cue 3 and turn around looking for that treat, then we know, okay, they know that 3 equals treat. So after that, you say 2, 3. So the 2 becomes a predictor for the 3. So the dog starts to engage when they hear 2 because they know 3 is coming up shortly and a treat will be delivered to them. After they show a conditioned emotional response to the 2, then you can add 1 and then you will say 1, 2, 3 and deliver the treat. After they are pretty fluent at that, then you can add duration and give them time between the cues, between the count. So yeah, that is the basics of 1, 2, 3. Okay, so since me and Nala are just practicing her training, I'm going to start with a reinforcer sample is what we call it. I'm basically going to let her sample the treat so she knows what she's working for. As her handler, you want to know, is she looking excited about these treats? Because if she's not looking excited in a training situation like this with no triggers, then it won't be a strong enough reinforcer when you're out on the streets and you do see triggers. So Nala is very truck and car reactive. She can also be reactive to squirrels and cats, depending on her mood. So this is a really great game for Nala to play when you're on a busy street or basically anywhere you need to keep her engaged with you. So I'll start walking. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So Nala is, if you are picking up on her body language, she's a little bit nervous right now, even though we're just in our yard because the building is under construction, and so we have a lot of loud banging and large trucks in our parking lot. So it's not the most relaxing space for her, but this is a good example of how she is able to engage with me, and you can watch her body language and see how her body language changes as I give the count. She's doing a very beautiful auto sit, so I know that she wants to keep playing the game. She's nice and calm. Right now she's staring at one of the trucks, so 1, 2, 3. See that? She was a little bit nervous, but by the time I said 2, she knew 3 was coming up and was able to engage. Like I said, the dog does not have to do anything. So right there, for example, she was still picking up one of the treats, but because I already had said the number, I wanted to make sure she got rewarded. You want to be consistent with it. So this is also a game that you always want to have treats when you're using it. Otherwise, it doesn't really make any sense to them when suddenly the treats stop, and then why engage if there's no treats? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. want the number to come before you move your hand to your treat pouch. I'm not the best about that, but if you want to be a superstar trainer, keep that in mind. 1, 2, 3. And for an example, as how you, or showing you guys how you can drag this out and add duration. 1, 2, 3. And you can see, even though we walked back and forth, she still was engaged. You can also really go very fast with it. That's something where if we were using this practically in a very stressful scenario, I would be very quick with it so the treats almost don't stop and they stay engaged. When you do a long duration like we just did, it does give them enough time to get distracted or triggered. So for example, that might look like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah, you dropped it. Let's try again. If you're doing really rapid sessions if you're doing really rapid treat delivery, it is helpful to keep treats in your hand. I like to hold my hand almost like it's a Kong and just use my thumb to push the treats out. So that would look more like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You can also toss the treats on the ground. You don't have to hand deliver them. Depending on the trigger, it might be a good idea to toss the treats on the ground so they are then looking at the ground and not looking up where the trigger might be. It really just depends on the situation. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that is 1, 2, 3. It's a great pattern game, super easy. If you want to learn more about how to train it, you can always reach out to one of our trainers at Friends for Life, and we can practice on a novice dog. Nala has practiced this many times, so she's really good at it. And yeah, if you watch this video and have any questions, just reach out to the behavior team.